Welcome to this explainer. I am so thrilled you're joining me today because, well, we're basically going to put on our detective hats. If you've ever stared at a massive, totally intimidating spreadsheet and thought, how on earth do I pull the actual story out of the sea of numbers, you are exactly where you need to be. Today, we're demystifying SPSS descriptive analysis. Think of me as your over-the-shoulder mentor. We're going to transform raw, confusing data into crystal clear insights using just a few really powerful tools. So let's just dive right in. Here's our quick roadmap for making sense of it all. First, we'll look at the raw data problem, and then we're going to unlock 4 specific tools: frequencies, descriptives, explore, and finally, crosstabs.
Okay, Section 1, the raw data problem, making sense of chaos. To make this super practical for us, we're going to stick with one specific case study throughout this whole explainer, a data set of exactly 20 employees.
Take a look at this. We've got a raw dataset tracking 3 main things. We have their job type, specifically whether they're a civil servant, which we'll call PNS, or a non-civil servant, NONPNS. We also have their income and the duration they've been working. But honestly, right now, it is just a chaotic wall of numbers and letters. On its own, it means absolutely nothing. So the million-dollar question here is, how do we actually read this data and, extract a meaningful summary? How are we supposed to take that intimidating wall of text and turn it into something a manager or a researcher can actually use to make real decisions? That brings us to Section 2, frequencies, counting categorical data. This first tool is specifically designed to give you a really quick, highly practical overview of data that fits neatly into specific groups. The steps to do this in SPSS are incredibly straightforward. You literally just click through the top menu, go to Analyze, then Descriptive Statistics, and click on Frequencies. From there, you just pick the variables you want to investigate. And hey, if you want a visual representation, you can easily just click on the Charts option while you're there. Once you're in there, we just move our variables, so job type, income, and work duration, right over to the right side to be analyzed. It's really as simple as pointing and clicking. And boom! By running this simple command, we instantly uncover our very first major insight. Without having to count those rows one by one like a spreadsheet zombie, SPS tells us that our dataset consists of 55% civil servants, or PNS, and 45% non-civil servants. Just like that, the chaos is already starting to take shape. What's really cool is that SPSS doesn't just throw a raw number at you. It provides this beautifully clean frequency table, showing the exact count of 11 PNS and 9 non-PNS. Plus, it gives you a super clear visual bar chart to prove those exact percentages right before your eyes. But wait, before we rush ahead, we absolutely have to highlight a vital rule of data analysis. Frequencies are fantastic, right? But they are specifically for nominal categories, like job type, where things fit perfectly into neat little buckets. For numerical scale data, like income, where you literally have thousands of different possible dollar amounts, we need a totally different tool. If you try running frequencies on varying incomes, you're just going to get a massive unhelpful list. And that leads us perfectly into Section 3, descriptives, summarizing scale data. Let's see how this builds our understanding of those numerical values, because this is where we start doing the heavy math. The process here is super similar to frequencies, but notice we leave job type behind. Since job type is a category, it stays out. Instead, we only select our scale variables, income and work duration. We're asking the software to calculate averages and ranges, and well, you obviously can't do that with text. The resulting table does all the heavy numerical lifting for us in a single glance. It instantly calculates the minimum values, maximum values, the mean average, and the total spread. Imagine being a manager and knowing immediately if your salaries are equitable or wildly imbalanced. That's what this gives you. Breaking this down, we can now definitively say that among our 20 respondents, the minimum income sits at $3.4 million, and the absolute maximum is $9.8 million. We also instantly see that work durations range from 1 year all the way to 9 years. We are really, truly starting to map the boundaries of our workforce now. Moving right along to Section 4, Explore Visual Comparative Analysis. We've got the basics down, but what if we want to dig a little deeper? When we want to combine both categorical and scaled data to actually compare groups against each other, we have to level up to this specific tool. In the Explore menu, the setup changes just a little bit. We place our numerical scale data, so income in this case, into the dependent list. Then we grab our categorical grouping data, the job type, and drop that into the factor list. We're essentially whispering to the software, hey, tell me all about income, but factor in whether they are a civil servant or not. And this isolates the statistics beautifully. Instead of just giving us one big blended average, it gives us a deep dive into the income metrics specifically separated for PNS versus non-PNS employees. We can finally compare their means, minimums, and maximums side by side. Guys, this is where true comparative analysis actually happens. Which brings us to our final stop, Section 5, Crosstabs, Cross-Tabulation Analysis. This is our most advanced tool in the Descriptive Toolkit today, and it lets us find the exact intersection of multiple variables all at once. We bring out crosstabs when we want to answer highly specific, multi-layered questions. Think about it. What if management bursts in and asks, what is the exact number of civil servants who have worked for exactly 5 years? A simple frequency or average is not going to tell you that. You absolutely need a cross-tabulation. And the climax of all our hard work is this incredibly rich output. First, we get a table mapping job type against every single year of duration. And right along with it, this highly visual clustered bar chart that tells the complete, nuanced story of our employees. You can literally spot patterns across both job type and years worked, all in one single glance. It's brilliant. Just look at how far we've come. We started with a chaotic, totally unreadable wall of numbers, and by just using frequencies, descriptives, explore, and crosstabs, we painted a detailed, highly accurate picture of our entire workforce. Now that you've seen how easily raw numbers can transform into clear, actionable insights, what hidden stories might your own intimidating datasets be waiting to tell? Go grab your data, open up SPSS, and start investigating. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.